So normally you'd obviously fly fine a lot slower, right?
Well, not in this kind of wind.
Okay.
You only get one shot to land a sailplane, and watching a master soaring pilot do it in high winds was awesome.
Oh, hi. My name is Brock. I'm not a huge fan of flying, but I'm going up in a glider. It's going to be pretty cool in the mountains here. Looking forward to it, sort of.
Brock is a real Flight Chops trooper, and he's responsible for most of the soaring footage you'll see in this episode. Gliding in the mountains of California was a dream come true. Learning to soar is what inspired me to get my private pilot license, and my first solo was actually in a Schweitzer 233.
Alright, have fun.
The same type of glider that Brock and I got to fly today. So I haven't done much soaring since that first season when I learned to fly, but I really want to get back to it. This primary, simple form of flight is such a great way to build your fundamentals, and I have so much respect for sailplane pilots. We met some great people when we flew with Truckee Tahoe Soaring Association, like this guy, Jan. You saw us fly together in part 1. Let's jump back into the cockpit to continue that flight.
You're Canadian?
Yes.
The Canadian Air Force trained me.
Oh, very cool.
I was stationed in London, Ontario.
So what have you flown? What types of aircraft have you flown?
Oh, all kinds. You know what the Havilland Chipmunk is?
Sure do.
I flew those.
Yeah, I'm looking to get some training on those in Windsor.
There's a link to the teaser for the Chipmunk series in the description.
You know what a Harvard is?
Sure do.
I flew those.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's kind of what I'm looking to head toward, the T6 Harvard.
You know what a Lockheed T-33 is?
Oh yeah.
I flew those.
Nice.
You know what the Gloucester Meteor is?
No, don't know that one.
British twin engine interceptor.
What was your favorite?
Probably the Lockheed T-33.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a nice airplane. So I lost the thermal.
Part 1 covered flying the tow and thermaling. I didn't think it was possible to thermal in winds like this, but Jan made it look easy, so definitely check part 1 for that. So for this one in part 2, we're simply going to focus on approach planning and landing the glider.
I lost the thermal. Here we come back into it again here.
Three still plane, turning downwind, right downwind.
Here we go. A little bit.
There's a tow down below.
Got him.
And a glider right above.
Got him. Okay, you got it. Go ahead and fly it.
I got it. So what am I doing?
Go straight, increase speed to about 55. And just fly it straight ahead into the wind.
Please visit FlightChops.com for a chance to win the Stratus 2 that ForeFlight's giving away, and if you're at Oshkosh, I'd love to hand it to you at the ForeFlight booth. Check the Flight Chops Facebook and Twitter accounts to see when I'll be where, because I'm also doing a Bose booth appearance and we're giving away a helicopter ride over AirVenture thanks to Bose and EAA.
Well, we made it to 10,500, didn't we?
That was impressive on a day like this. Wow, the wind is really turning me. You gotta really fight it, eh?
Earlier in the morning before flying with Jan, I spoke to Richard about how Truckee Tahoe Soaring Association is contributing to the aviation community.
We have been flying gliders here since the late 1950s, continuously. But last year we decided to turn the operation into a nonprofit so that we can really expand all the work that we're doing with youngsters. We have trained 20 to 40 youngsters in terms of flight education in gliders over the past couple of years, and many of these kids have gone on to professional careers in aviation. They're flying Gulfstreams and jets. They're doing wonderful things, and even the kids who haven't gone on to professional aviation careers, we think that they've really been changed no matter where they go because of the tremendous self-confidence that they get from learning to fly gliders, to be around good role models of pilots, to helping other people. They learn responsibility, and we just love working with them.
Even before speaking to Richard about the youth initiatives that they've got going, we met Thomas, one of the summer students. He's a smart kid that lives and breathes aviation.
Soar Truckee really gave me a bunch of opportunities. It's really just a fun place to hang around, and all the people are great. Everyone's super helpful and nice. My life would be really different without it and be a lot more boring. I'd spend a lot more time playing video games, I guess. I spend a lot of time flying, and I definitely do a lot of RC stuff.
During our stay at Truckee, a few of the pilots learned that Thomas was going to go fly an RC plane at a nearby lake. The wind was pretty crazy strong that day, and Thomas was barely able to fly this thing, and that was a taste of what it was going to be like to soar in these conditions later.
Flying RC is definitely something I just do on my free time. Anytime I really can, I go do it. I can fly RC every day. I can't fly full scale every day. And so it's just kind of a way for me to express the way I love aviation on a day-to-day basis.
Thomas started with us, I believe, when he was 13 or 14 and worked with us for a long period of time. Thomas is just, he's an example of the great kids that we have. And hopefully the nonprofit will allow us to continue to do this and to expand the program.
My dad has been super helpful because he's been funding my training. But also I want to give a shout out to Jan because he's just such a phenomenal guy, super good instructor, really nice guy, and he's just given me a bunch of opportunities also here, and I'm so glad I get to work here, and it's because of him.
Before he finishes high school, Thomas hopes to get his full pilot license and then pursue a career in aerospace engineering. It was really cool to see him established on his path at such an early age. Dedicated Flight Chops viewers will know that I'm very passionate about engaging with the aviation community and the general public. If I could boil Flight Chops down to a single mission statement, it would be to promote, share, and grow the flying community. Aviation should not be an exclusive club, but rather a welcoming family of pilots and enthusiasts. And Truckee Tahoe Soaring Association is doing their bit with guys like Thomas. As for guys like me, licensed power pilots with varying experience levels, there was a lot to learn from the soaring pilots here. One of the most valuable lessons I learned on this trip had to do with judging glide angles. Because with terrain like this, what your altimeter is telling you really doesn't mean much. You need to know your height above ground and if you can make a certain field. So we huddled into the workshop to get shelter from the wind to hear this lecture about glide ratios and a really cool trick that glider pilots use to judge their descent angles.
Rough calculations, 30 inches, so 1 inch here is 2 degrees. Let's say this is 22 inches. 1 in 11 would be 2 inches here. That might be about as far away as your windshield is.
What your fingers are blocking is where you cannot go. The bottom line is whatever's below your hand, if it's straight out,
Yes.
you're going to make.
And the less confident you are,
Make
the more fingers you
More
need.
fingers, which is what I would want to do.
Yes.
I'm not going to cut it close. So
Yes.
4 fingers or whatever,
Yeah.
I can make that.
The idea is that you line up the top of your hand with the horizon, which covers the area that's too far for you to glide to.
We fly over terrain that we don't know what the elevation is. How do we judge that? We judge it by angles, and because the angles never lie. Every normal landing for a glider is an emergency landing for power guys when your engine quits.
Richard took us outside to illustrate this trick, and what's cool is that you don't need an airplane, it's all about scale, so the eye to ground height, in this case your eyes to your feet, was all we needed.
The human brain cannot understand depth once you get above 500 feet. And so the only way you can do that is by the angle. Every airplane has a different glide slope. They go anywhere from 20 to 1 to 60 to 1 in gliders. A typical power plane is going to be 10 to 12 to 1. So what we want to do is figure out what the angle is for us and how far that is. How do you know, is that a good field over there that looks better, but can I make it? As opposed to putting down this field over here, it doesn't look as good, but I know I can make that one over here. So that's where knowing what your glide slope is. So I'm going to walk out. Let me show you what a 10 to 1 glide slope is. And so we're looking for a glide slope, in this case, of 10 to 1. So we're walking out, in effect, 20 paces. And we're seeing from the horizon down to where our feet are, because that's a 2 to 1 angle. Most people are very surprised, exactly like you were.
So you showed me a 10 to 1. When you did
Yes, and that's working out 20 paces.
That's what confused me, I think, because I would have walked out 10 paces.
But a pace is 2 paces equals 1 height, typically.
Right.
And so that's why we're working out 20 paces to get a 10 to 1 glide slope.
Gotcha.
And if we're working out for a 50 to 1 glide slope, we're walking out 100 paces. And that becomes very, very shallow. But that becomes effective only in very, very high performance airplanes.
Yeah.
Sailplanes, not airplanes, but sailplanes.
Sure.
That glider out there is 50 to 1. So you imagine how far you can go in terms of distance. The point is that typically you can go further than you think you're going to go, assuming no wind. I mean, you have to take that into consideration. You have to know which way the wind is going.
You also have to be flying completely coordinated and at the best lift to drag ratio speed, so there's a lot more to it than this. This is very simplified, so definitely don't consider this training. But anyways, We had some crazy winds to land in, and Jan gave me an amazing demonstration of perfect glider control.
A lot of sink here.
Yeah, do I turn out of it or?
Well, there's no way to get out of it now. We're gonna go land.
Okay. So want to talk me through the procedure?
Sure. So now make a 180 to the right, into the wind, back to the airport. Trucking traffic glider, 61 Tango on the 45 left downwind 20. Keep banking to the right. Keep banking to the right. And go straight. Good. Turn right.
And 61 Tango looks like 531 is right behind you.
You want me to expedite?
Just a little bit, and if you can take the, stop by the tow planes, that'd be good, and I'll take the angle turn off if that works.
Okie doke. Trucking traffic 61 Tango expediting, left downwind 20. You hear that? Somebody right behind me.
I gotcha.
So I got it then.
You have control.
It's really cool to watch Jan managing the energy with the spoiler. This control essentially works like a throttle in a power plane.
61 Tango left base and final 20.
Pulling the handle back adds more spoilers, which are basically these things that pop out of the wings and spoil the lift. So it works the same as pulling back the throttle, reducing your power in a plane with an engine.
61 Tango final 20.
So normally you'd obviously fly final a lot slower, right?
Well, not in this kind of wind.
Okay.
Glider 531,
30 mile
left downwind, 20 trucking glider.
From 80 miles an hour to nothing, see that?
Yes.
It felt like our approach was incredibly fast, but Jan put us down exactly where he wanted to, got off the runway, and stopped within like a foot of I think where he intended to stop. It was unbelievable to watch this master at work. It was even more impressive when I opened the canopy and realized how strong the wind was because it almost got ripped out of my hand.
Very cool.
So this experience definitely reminded me that I have to get back into soaring, and I highly recommend any pilots try it, and new pilots, it's a great way to start to really build your fundamentals. I'm certain that soaring has definitely made me a better pilot.
Thanks again to the supporters on Patreon for making this possible. Every month we rotate in a really cool featured prize. Last month it was the True Aviator Steam Gauge watch from Shaden that Beth won, along with $1,000 worth of awesome stuff from the other sponsors. This month, ForeFlight's providing a Stratus 2S. Please visit flightshops.com for a chance to win and keep your flight chops sharp.